Hello, my name is David Four. I am from Wisconsin.
How many miles is this race?
So I did the Kettle Moraine 100, and it is the 100-mile race in LaGrange, Wisconsin.
Tell me a little bit about your goals going into this race and how are you feeling the night before, the morning of?
My goals for the race before I started it the main was to finish, and then maybe do a sub 24-hour one. And so going into the race, that was kind of the main goals. Once the race started and got a few hours in, then the only goal was to finish the race. That was the main goal.
This was your first ultra, right?
Yes, this was my first ultra marathon. Prior to this race, I have never ran past 30 miles.
Why would you choose 100 miles for your first race then?
I knew I could do a 50K, and I knew I could do 50 miles, and I knew I could do 100K. And so I didn't know if I could do 100 miles. So that's why I chose the 100-mile race.
Did you ever think that you would be here and you wanted to do something like this?
No. Never in my wildest dreams. If you have told me 4 years ago that I would be running a 100-mile race, I would be laughing. I would have never guessed I would have been here running this 100-mile race, or being into fitness and health.
Who inspired you to start running, and when did it start for you?
In September of 2021 or October of 2021, I read a book by David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. And so I listened to it on Audible, and it changed my life and inspired me to do better for myself. I related a lot to him when it came to his life. So that inspired me. He inspired me to get into stretching, get into running.
Were you athletic at all growing up?
Yeah, I played soccer. I played almost every sport. Football, baseball. Probably the most athletic was probably soccer. I probably the best at. But all the way up until high school, I played some kind of sport.
Tell me a little bit about your training before you started the race. What was your nutrition like and your training process?
So training, I started training right after I signed up for it in January 1st. I found a training plan online, printed it out, and just rolled with it for 22 weeks. And so I had some speed workouts throughout the week, just one, and then the weekends were my long runs. My peak weekend was a 50-mile weekend, so I did 30 on a Saturday and 20 on a Sunday. I did all trails, and then nutrition-wise was, during my long runs, it was fruit snacks. I love the fruit snacks, and I ate them throughout my race, lived on them, and experimented with Coca-Cola. That was new to me because I don't drink soda, so getting into drinking Coke was different for me, but I can see why people do it, why runners do it. It really helps.
So the day before you went and got your bib and your package, and I got to see where you would start. What was that like?
It was very exciting because I knew the next day I was going to be at that start line, towing the line, and just the favorite part about the race too was the camaraderie between everyone and the pre-race jitters. It's like that stuff. It brings me to myself in a way where I'm going to find out a lot about myself, and I want to see what I'm really made of, and I'm about to embark on this crazy journey of 100 miles, and that's what's going through my head prior to the race. But seeing it all has got me really excited. Taking the pre-race pictures was sinking in more, knowing that in a few hours I'm going to be starting the run. So it was exciting because then seeing all these people that are doing the same thing I am and seeing their families, it was really exciting.
So race day comes along. What does your morning look like? What did you eat before you left the house?
Yeah.
What was your preparation like?
So I woke up at 3:30 that morning, or 3:15 a.m. And then I went and ate a bagel with peanut butter on it, a banana, and honey, and I had a Pop-Tart, and then I drank a bottle of Coke. That's what I ate, and then I stretched a little bit too prior to the run. And race started at 6 o'clock, so I had to leave about a half hour. Took about a half hour to get to the spot, so we had to leave pretty early.
So you get there, everyone's pulling in, everyone's getting their water packs on, their shoes on. You're walking towards the start line. What's going through your mind?
Believe it or not, one of the most annoying things that happened to me was running and keep getting stuff in my shoes and stopping so much. These things solve that problem.
Okay.
You just go over here and
Clip on. Okay, gotcha. And you cinch it up around the ankle
yep.
or your shin. Yeah.
And this is why these shoes are so nice, because every time, like as my feet get swollen, I can just do one click back or two clicks back, and it expands with my foot.
Well, the main thing that was going through my mind is I had to go to the bathroom. So I had to go number 2 prior to getting my stuff on first.
Typical morning of.
Yeah, and there was a big line, so a lot of people was thinking the same thing. So that was my first thought. Right when we got there, I was so nervous that I had to go to the bathroom, and once I did, I felt a lot better. But I was still nervous, and I just wanted to get that race started just so I could start running, because that's what I know. So I wanted to start the run, and then just start the journey of 100 miles. So I was excited, but I was also trying to get focused and dial in just to my day and stay focused.
There you go, David.
Alright guys, like just 5 miles. He's like, oh, you can go here, you can walk there. Alright, well this come back here.
So you're off, you start the race, and the first aid station you get to is McMiller, and that's 19.5 miles into the race. That's the first time you see your crew. Who is your crew for this race? And what were those first 19 miles like?
Well, I heard you say shoot.
Have you peed?
Many times.
Good.
Shower.
Oh, nice. That's going nice and smooth.
How you feeling?
Really good.
Yeah?
Really good.
Charger.
I'm gonna go grab some. I got a bag of chips.
Preempted. Yep, you go out that way and then go to the right.
I'll see you.
Hit that table if you want to grab something on your way.
I've been hitting some of the candy on those tables.
Oh yeah? I saw that. I was like, he's gonna go for the chocolate.
No, it was more of the gummy stuff.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, all right. Choose longer.
So the first 19 miles were actually really nice. I met a couple people on the trails. So we're talking first 3 or 4 aid stations. Was nice because I just filled up water bottles and ate some candy. And
You were in and out of those.
yeah, those I was no longer there for 30 seconds. I went in and out, just kept going, had my flask ready just to be poured water in, and then I just kept going. So going into the 19-mile marker was refreshing to see everyone, which my wife was the crew chief, and then her whole family was there supporting me with being at my crew. So I'm very thankful for them. And it was nice seeing everyone for the first time. And once I got into it, I was feeling good. Legs were still feeling really strong. So it was nice going into that.
Tell me about your gear. What shoes did you wear for the race? What brands did you try out? Just being your first big race, as far as like your water bottles, all those kinds of things. Tell me a little bit about your gear.
Yeah, so I wore the Solomon hydration vest, the 12-liter. So it's a big one, has a lot of room in there to store stuff. We'll store lots of snacks, and I just had the 2 soft flasks on my chest, and then I had an extra water bottle just a regular water bottle in my backpack. Gear, I use the Squirrel's nut butter. Shoes, I wore the Speedlands Keep Hammering edition, the Pishka. I love those shoes. It took my feet a while to wear them in, but once I got them wore in, my feet really, they were great shoes. And just the whole BOA system on there where I don't have to tie them when my feet were getting swollen, that was just ideal too. They were lightweight, very cooling, kept my feet very dry. Speedlands were the shoes I wore for the most part. I did switch to a New Balance shoe once the Speedlands got wet. And then I wore the Keep Hammering Cameron Hanes hat throughout the race. And then I think I switched to the Kettle Moraine hat after that.
So you saw crew again at mile 27.1, and you were a little bit hungry. What did you have to eat, like your first meal?
Yeah, I had burgers ready for me at that next aid station when I met the crew. So I took some bites of some burgers. Watermelon. I did try mac and cheese, and that was not doing it for me. I took one bite of that, and it was, I could tell right away that was not having it. So that was the last of that. I didn't practice with it either. So I did PB&Js, fruit snacks, watermelon, candy.
So that was something new that happened to you during the race that didn't happen during training. It was kind of your nutrition. You tried a few different things than you did during training.
Yeah, but I didn't go too far out of my nutrition plan.
Stuck to what you knew.
Yeah.
Tolerate.
I did try just some mac and cheese, but that was, I think, the only thing different. I tried peanut butter and jelly before, so I already knew what that was like. And for the most part, my stomach holds up pretty well when it comes to kind of what I'm known for or what I go into.
A burger and you're on your way, huh?
Yeah, I took a bite of some burger and I took a watermelon to go and some candy to go. More fruit snacks. So.
Do you remember feeling any kind of aches, pains, tweaks at that time at the 27-mile mark?
No. If anything, I I still was doing good at that point, just more hungry, but otherwise I was feeling good. I was doing pretty well, I would say.
So after we see you, again, you do a loop.
Oh my goodness.
What was the loop like for you? Were you in any pain at that point too? Because you're coming past the point of miles you've been at already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that loop was a 5-mile loop to make my way back to the start finish line, and that it started raining, and I was not anticipating the vert that was in this loop. It was a switchback style of trails going up like 3 different sections, and so it was big hills. It was raining, and it was a long 5 miles. I think that loop was 5 miles, and that's when it started getting hard for me, physically wise. It was that 5-mile loop was the start of the hard of the day. The rain started, the hills. If the hills were hard, and then once I got past that 5-mile loop, though, it was like I was very relieved. That was a hard loop.
Show me your pictures.
I love Violet.
So cool.
I love Violet. I got Violet.
Colt, show me yours. Yeah. Yeah, girl. Looks good. There's Daddy.
Here we gotta go. We gotta hold your 100. Hold your 100. Woo! There we go. Yay! Show him. Show him your 100. Yay!
How are you?
Go right over here. You wanna go? Right over here.
Then we met up with you again,
Hmm.
and we switched out your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
That you spent a little time at that aid station. Where you change clothes. Remember that?
Yeah. When I came back and met you guys there, was the trail now at this point was muddy, because now it's been raining for hours, and on the way out it wasn't bad. The way back it was muddy. The trails, you couldn't even, it was just complete mud, so you were wet very quick. I needed the new shoes, but they didn't last long either when it came to the mud. And the thing that sucks about those, they were just a regular tie shoeing road running shoe.
They weren't trail shoes.
Yeah, they weren't trail shoes. And my feet at this point were already pretty swollen, so it was every time I would go downhill, hitting my front of my toes harder, and I couldn't relieve stress as easy, because I had to untie them and all that stuff. So I need to get back into those speedlands as soon as possible. So, but yeah, so it rained for 5.5 hours that day, something like that, and the trails the rest of the day were just completely muddy. So
You had a couple little visitors at that aid station when you ran in.
yeah, my kids came to visit, and that was really cool to see, because that was very uplifting. I wanted them to see me go through this, and obviously the starting point, they were still sleeping and they didn't see me leave, take off, or any of that kind of stuff. So see me at that aid station, it was very exciting. It got me some more energy, because They were just excited, holding up signs and coming into it. So it was just cool to see that.
Okay, so at this point, we've got some more crew with us, and you are coming up on Bluff, which is the 56.5 mile mark.
Mm-hmm.
I was not there. Who met you there? What went down at the aid station that your crew chief missed out on?
So my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, two of my brother-in-laws were there, three of them. Night was just about to come on me. So it was like 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30. And at this point, I thought I was going to be at Nordic already, the start finish line. And I was obviously way behind. And so I didn't plan for having a headlamp there. Luckily, my father-in-law had an extra one, happened to be on him. So luckily, I had a headlamp on the rest of the way to Nordic. But that bluff was when I underestimated some of my planning. And at this point, I was just kind of going with the flow and winging it from here on out.
This is when you kind of had some doubts.
So yeah, yes. So Bluff going to Nordic, which I think is like 7 miles or so, 8 miles. And I have a cutoff time was 12:30. And at this point it was like 9:30, and I'm moving pretty slow. So my mind was just throwing doubts in my head about, I wasn't going to make it. I should just stop, give up. That was really hard because I wasn't ready to stop. I wanted to keep going. So now it's night going to Nordic, and I just kept pushing. I have trekking poles at this point. I got trekking poles back at mile 32, I think. And trekking poles I had the rest of the way. But I just pushed those trekking poles. And the one thing I underestimated during this whole entire race, this is probably my biggest mistake, is the terrain. And so going into Nordic are the biggest hills there. And those were huge, hard to go up, and even harder to go down.
And you trained in the kettles.
Yeah, so the kettles that I trained at was little hills, little bumps compared to these hills that were down at the Kettle Moraine.
So that's something that you didn't expect.
Yeah, I punched into my Garmin, and my Garmin said it was like 8,000 feet of elevation gain for the whole race. It's like, okay, but by the time that I was done with the race, I was already at 10,000 feet. And I still had another 10 miles to go yet. So that was the biggest thing I underestimated, was the terrain. But
so you got your headlamp, you leave Bluff. Would
yep.
you say that this, from Bluff to Nordic, was the hardest part of the race for you?
No. It wasn't the hardest part, but it was one of the hard parts. I didn't know if I was going to make it to the cutoff point. I didn't think I was. And when I didn't think I was, I started just going downhill. But I told myself, I'm not done. I'm going to keep pushing. And lo and behold, I made it with like an hour and 15 minutes before the cutoff time. So that really brought some more life back into me once I got to the start finish line of Nordic.
You were cooking too? Nice. He's right there. That was. He's right there. He's right there. Oh, what do you need? Your shoes off? Yep. Hey, buddy. I'll take your shoes off. Kellen, can I have a light? Somebody? Yep, we got you right now.
Kellen.
Coke? Yes.
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Can I have two Cliff bars?
Two Cliff bars.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you. You look great.
They might still be in the car. I can run
What are you looking
back.
for?
Two Cliff bars.
Oh, he's here.
If we need,
Cliff bars are in the car. I need the keys back.
check which car, Dad.
Back this car.
Not bad.
Here, Helen. They're in the back.
Some pretty nice looking gigs. They are making a really good pace that lasts like 2 miles. You're killing it. I love the Marty McFly kicks.
Something else, huh?
Whoever are. You got somebody with you the rest of the way. Good day.
What do you need in terms of water and stuff, David?
Water first? Water pouch? Yeah. Regular water first. Pour that in, I'll say when, okay? Good one. That was my fault. That was my fault.
Trying to hit a moving target, aren't you there, Gage?
You got
The whole thing will fit. Unless they had some in it. All right, good.
Good job, Gage.
Yeah. Here.
The McCoy Stampede.
Cliff bars, man. Yeah.
These guys are technically brothers.
You want, like, yep.
Where did the go up there? It is cool.
You want any ice packs on your legs or anything?
Yeah.
No? Good? All right. Alright, sounds good. Keep warm. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Becca's grabbing fruit snacks for you?
I don't need any fruit snacks.
You don't need fruit snacks?
No, it needs Cliff bars.
Cliff bars. Okay. Here.
David, yeah.
Kellen's
don't
get the
think
Cliff
so.
bars.
I
Kel,
got
you got
I
it?
got it.
All
I
right.
got
Awesome.
PB&J, man. Good snack.
Headlamp,
Yeah.
Switch the headlamp out?
And my other small one. On my belt.
Do you want to take this as a backup, David, or do you think you're okay?
Hand me a pack of batteries. No, just one. Hand me a pack of batteries.
What's that?
What's what?
That.
That's a lamp that you can wear on your chest.
Is his phone?
Nope, that's his phone.
That's a portable charger. So it holds battery.
Charge his phone, yeah.
It's a big battery. You trying to get in the pouch? Alright. Oh, nice little hood. That's cool. It's a cool little vest.
Yeah, here's a Ziploc one.
Keep eating, David. I know you're doing a lot of other things with your hands. You need some sustenance, man.
You're kicking butt, David.
Yeah, man, just keep up this pace. You're crushing it.
You're crushing it.
Your pace is awesome. You're good. You're good, man. Your pace is awesome. Just keep up the same. If you keep doing the same thing,
Exactly what you've been doing since there. You're well above standard. And you're ahead of
you're doing
schedule.
16, 17. Like that's all you need for the rest of the way.
Yeah, if you could stay under 18s, David, you're doing great.
You can do 20s the rest of the way, and you're gonna beat the cutoffs. So you're good. Like your pace right now kicks ass.
Yeah, power hike, it's working, man. Good. No, you're doing great.
Yeah, you're in really good shape. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna be.
You got enough light, David? You don't need this one? Nope. Okay, all right.
What's up? I just got to the point where I can, I mean, I shouldn't be allowed to live on fruit ground, but I can walk around.
Yeah, I do not want peanut butter or fruit snacks for the next month. You want to put them in the table to take with you or no?
No, I'm going to take these with me.
You're gonna take it with you? Yeah.
You want to put them in the bag? Then you don't get sticky. Are you sure? Okay, all right. You're going to leave this one behind?
Yeah. All right, I'll put that over.
Yes. Where was it? Right there. It's like, oh, yeah, we need to chase it.
Yeah. He just went off that way to the car.
Feel better in those?
Say yeah, that feels great.
I feel great. It's nothing. I've been through worse.
I've been going fast for the last 5 minutes.
Man, you good, buddy?
See you next
All right, guys.
See you next time.
I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Hey,
David.
here, buddy.
David, you like
Do
the
you
pole?
want your poles or no? Dude, hey. Best of luck. Yep, man. Stay frosty.
Stay frosty. Now on, he's not a little bit.
He's got a second. I definitely see what you're doing.
He wanted his shoes back. He wanted his shoes back.
So you roll into Nordic, and that's 63.9 miles that you ran. What time is it? You got the whole crew there, all the in-laws, all the fans.
Yes.
That's when everyone showed up for you, and we spent a lot of time there. What was Nordic like? Getting back to the start finish line.
Nordic was really relieving to get there. Everyone was there, all the in-laws and friends. That was awesome because there was just music going. There's a lot of people there, and just a lot of energy. And then I made it there with an hour and 15 minutes to spare, so that made me happy. I was going into it, didn't think I was going to get to that cutoff point, but once I did, I had a little life back in me. And I was picking up my first pacer, which is a friend, coworker, and he was going to pace me for 7 miles going back to Bluff then. But I got some food, replenished my vest, got a bunch of fruit snacks, drank some more Coke, and ate some more burger, and then hauled back out to the trail.
Were you happy to have someone with you at that point?
Yes, that helped a lot, especially the first pacer, because that first section from Nordic to Bluff is probably the hardest, in my opinion, of the race, especially going back out. So it's like I get to the start finish line knowing that, I could just sit down and just be like, I'm done. I just ran 63 miles. That's the most I've ever done. I'm good.
But you didn't do that.
Nope, I did not, because I knew I had a lot more to give. And that's something that I wanted to empty the tank. So I went back out there, hit those hills again, and it was hard. I power walked, power hiked as best I could, going back to Bluff. And
'Cause you're in the middle of the night now. It's 12:30.
yeah,
How did the night go for you?
yeah, Now it's nighttime, and most of the night was not bad mentally. I didn't hallucinate. I'm surprised actually. That was something that was in front of my brain, thinking I was going to see something come out or some tree moving or something. I was waiting.
It's common.
I was waiting for it.
Sleep deprived.
Yeah, I was waiting for it, but it did not happen. Surprisingly, maybe because I was anticipating it, it didn't happen. I don't know, but
How are your legs feeling after 63 miles?
they were pretty fatigued. They were pretty tired. I was mentally still there, but physically I was very tired. Um, yeah, so just seeing runners with their headlamps on everywhere, it was it kept me pushing as best I could. Those hills in the beginning of that race are so hard, so hard. The worst part about it was going downhill and just my hamstrings were just my quads were just tore up. Um, I tried running as best I could, just even a little bit with the trekking poles, and it was hard.
Is there anything you want to say to Jamin in particular?
No, just to thank him, for coming out there, and obviously I anticipated him to be there or me to be at the start finish line a long time prior to 11:15. So I
He
think
hung out for you.
I thank him for spending the extra time, and he's not the guy that stays up late either. He's a early riser, so I do appreciate and thank him for coming out to help me with that pacing.
So it's the middle of the night. You're coming up on mile 71.3, and you pick up a new pacer.
Yeah.
You're on your way to Highway 12, and you've got some miles to go, and you have to make a cutoff. Tell me about this time, because I remember this time, and I remember having a pep talk with you when you left Bluff. We had some time to make up, so tell me about this time in the race.
Come on, baby. Here you go.
So it was getting harder for me physically. My mental state was still there. The physical part was going fast. I picked up a new pacer, my brother-in-law David, at Bluff, and he led me to all the way down to Rice Lake. But we had to get to Highway 12 before cutoff, and then we had to get to Rice Lake before cutoff. So I had a lot of ground to make up in this time, and he did a phenomenal job pushing me to get to that. So backtrack a little bit throughout the night. It was hard. That was one of the hardest sections, was that middle of the night, the 3 o'clock. I was wanting to fall asleep. I could not focus. I kept blinking and shaking my head. The path that we were on was like a single lane highway going all the way to Highway 12 basically, and past that to Rice Lake. It was, and then people going in and out, you had to move over. There was barely any room. And then the terrain too was hard. It was not underestimated it. But 3 o'clock came around. I remember that was hard for me to focus. I had to tell David to stay close because I was struggling. That was probably the worst time I was struggling mentally at that point.
That was a lot of hills.
I was physically hurting pretty
This
good.
next stretch hard.
Once we got to Highway 12, more doubts crept in my mind.
Ibuprofen. Do you want anything? Oh, orange. I gave you. Okay.
Didn't think I was going to make it. I had to make it to Rice Lake by 6:30.
going back. This is the last meeting, and then you're back to the men everywhere before.
Yeah, which way do I go out?
David will help you. He'll figure it out. Yep. You can do this, David. You're gonna do it.
Right now.
You're gonna do it.
What's up, right? All right. Let's go.
So 15 minutes till you miss the cutoff, but you made it. You sit down in the chair. What's going through your head?
There he is.
Good job. Way to go.
Get you fed and get you out.
David.
Nice job, David.
You're gonna
Nice
do
job.
it.
Oh, I was like, yeah, you made it for food. I was like, damn.
Halfway through the shortest path, you're gonna make it.
No, we're good. Thanks.
Now you know what to expect. We're just doing the same thing backwards real quick. Killing it, man. Killing it.
Obviously, I made it to Rice Lake just in time, and the sun's up now and bringing a whole new, bringing a new day to the race now. And this is the first time I've ever stayed up while running for this long. So, all new.
Pain level at right now? What's hurting? How are you mentally, physically?
At this point at Rice Lake, I was very fatigued. I was very tired. My feet were hurting. I knew my pinky toe on my right side was getting jammed pretty good. I could feel a blister on my foot. My big toe, which we had taped up many hours prior to that, so I could just feel something was going on there. My quads and my hamstrings were just shot. My calf was just hurting, throbbing. My knees too, like the back of my left knee was just shot. Mentally, when I got to Rice Lake was pretty low. I wasn't done yet. The only thing I knew for sure was I wasn't done yet running. I wasn't done with the race. That's the only thing I knew at that point. I was still going to go. Whether it was going to be 1 mile every hour or whatever the case was, I knew I was going to keep going. So that's the only thing I knew at that point. Even though I was hurting and down in the dumps, I knew one thing was for sure was I'm not stopping yet.
I know, I saw this one. Because I don't even know what time I got. What time you got here last year? Was it still dark? I can't do it. Just third.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of too fast and coming out of here. Like protein?
All right, dig deep, David.
Come on, David. You can do it.
Dig deep, man.
You can do it.
Anytime you run 18, you got it.
You got it, man. You can get
That's
there.
it. See you next time.
But Michelle said whatever we brought, she'd reimburse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said,
go, David. Here you go, David.
Pick it up, buddy. Yeah, that was what I thought I.
What do you want to say to David?
I wanted to thank him. Also, obviously, he came out just to before a anniversary trip with him and his wife, and so he took time out just to come out and pace me, especially through the night. So I mean, I can't thank him enough for doing that, and for the amount of miles he did with me. I think it was around 10 or something like that he did. Maybe more.
14, I think.
Yeah.
Closer to 14.
Okay. And so obviously he trekked with me for half a marathon in the trails, so all through the night. Oh, I greatly appreciate it, and I thank him for doing that. Next up is Max, my brother-in-law Max.
Yeah, you pick him up and you're back on your way to Highway 12, so you're coming in at 86.5 miles.
Yep, that was, like I said, that terrain going back was just so hard. Those hills were so big at that point, especially because I'm hurting pretty good, so those hills were even bigger. But I couldn't move very fast. I tried running and it just hurt so bad. I tried doing the whole power hiking and my legs were slowly just falling apart slowly.
They're saying that they're gonna wake up real early and come to the end at like 6 in the morning.
So you leave Highway 12 pretty slow.
Yep.
And you're on your way to Duffin. How did the race end for you?
Well, so obviously the goal was we had to get to Bluff before 10 o'clock. And at this point it was 9:30 and I still had 5 miles or 6 miles to go. So I had to go, I had to Duffin. I had to go from Highway 12 to Duffin to Bluff before 10 o'clock. And so I haven't even made it to Duffin yet, and it's 9:30, and I still got 5 or 6 miles to go yet before we make it to Bluff. And at this point I knew I was moving so slow that I knew I probably wasn't going to make it. I was moving very slow at this point. I tried giving Max more of a fight. I wanted to push harder, and my legs just were not doing it for. It sucked because I wanted to. My mind, I wanted to keep pushing. My legs would not let me, which I hate that because I tried convincing my mind. I tried yelling at it. I tried doing anything I could to get some motivation back in my body from adrenaline, and I didn't find anything.
What was your feeling when you realized you weren't going to make the cutoff? Like, that realization you weren't going to make it.
The main thing that I was pretty tore up because my biggest thing was not me. It was letting everyone else down. Because they all came out here to support me, and I wanted to finish that race for everyone, not just myself, but for everyone. And so when I knew I wasn't going to make it to that cutoff point, it was sad because I felt like I was letting everyone down.
Did you get emotional at all through the race?
Yes, many times. It all started when it was random points in the time in the race where thoughts came into my head about not finishing it or whatever it was, and then it was just like I had a moment of a breakdown, and it happened many times. But when it came to the point where I wasn't going to make the cutoff, that one hit me hardest. The main thing is I didn't want to let everyone down that was out there supporting me and helping me out get to my goal.
What was it like getting to that last aid station? Everyone's there, and you just ran 90.6 miles.
That was an awesome moment, because before I could even see the aid station, I could just hear clapping and cheering, and it was just, I wasn't expecting that, I guess. I kind of was just going into it thinking that people were going to be packed up, kind of just waiting on me to get out of there. And they were not packed up. They were offering me food still, and everyone was there to help. People I don't even know was there cheering me on and applauding me and stuff. And that was very awesome. It made me happy for myself because I made it that far. During the race, a lot of people ask, they talk, all the talking. It was like, hey, is this your first? Have you ever done an ultra before, or what's, have you ever just an ultra marathon? And it's like, so many people were surprised that I was the only one. Not the only one, but I just decided to do 100 miles for my first ultra marathon, and not do a 50K or a 50 mile, or like, I just jumped straight into 100 miles, and people thought that was awesome and crazy.
Ambitious.
Very ambitious. But when I made it to mile 90, or to Duffin, I was proud of myself because I didn't think I was going to get that far. And I thought I was letting everyone down at first, but my father-in-law came up to me and really reinforced that I did a lot better than what I was giving myself credit for. Knowing that I ran 3.5 marathons through the trails, and how many people can actually say that? Or when you came up to me and had a moment with me, that was special to me. And then everyone else, that, especially people I didn't know, that was just clapping for me and saying what a great job I've done, that how far I went from our first ultra marathon. So it was very, it was an amazing experience I'll never forget. But I gave it all. I did give it all my all.
You left it all out there. You emptied the tank.
I did not. I didn't quit. And that's one thing I told myself I wasn't going to do. And so I got there, and yeah, I emptied it.
What do you want to say to Max?
Of course, I want to thank him as well. I wish I could have gave him a better fight. I wish I really could have pushed him on the trails and really.
He's not a runner.
Yeah, he's not the running one. He's not a runner. He's athletic, but he's not the runner. I really wanted to give him a good push, a good run for his money through the trails, um, but I couldn't. So I do thank him. I thank him for coming down there, obviously helping me pace, and taking the time out of his weekend just to be there for me and for us and help cheer me on. And
Now that you've done this, what would you do differently next time? Are you gonna do it again? I know the answer to that.
yes,
And why did you want to do this?
I wanted to do it because I wanted to see what I'm capable of as for me. Leading up to this fitness lifestyle and running many years ago, I didn't really push myself. I didn't really know what I was truly about. So I wanted to do this to see what I was capable of as a human, as a man, as me. I never really challenged myself that hard. I always took the easy routes. I always took the path of least resistance, and I never really challenged me. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I did, was to see if I can, what I can do during a race like this. Because it was literally the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
And you're gonna do it again, huh?
And I'm going to do it again because I want to keep growing and I want to keep learning more about myself and seeing what I'm capable of.
You had a lot of supporters. What was the support like from social media and friends? And
Yeah, that was overwhelming at first because I didn't think that many people watched me, and I didn't think that people really noticed, I guess. But once this race came along and I started posting about it and posting in the moment of the race, the support was awesome. I was getting it from friends, family, people I don't talk to much or at all, and then it was just an overwhelmingly awesome amount of support through all that. The social media, there was people cheering me on, friends that were sending me texts throughout the day, and voice messages, and yeah, so it was awesome, and that really helped, knowing that I was helping. I was also, like, people saying they're inspired by me. That kind of hits me hard because I want to do that for people. I want to be an inspiration in some way, knowing that there's more to yourself than what meets the eye. So I wanted to push myself to maybe help other people push themselves.
you've gone through quite the journey in the last few years to get to this point. What advice would you give your younger self? And what are you looking to get through, or what are you looking to get out of going through this journey? Why do you do this?
Advice to give my younger self. I would say to don't give up. I would say to fail, but try again. Fail and try again. If I fail again, keep trying and don't give up. My younger self was failing, and then I just gave up and never tried it again. I didn't think there was a point in trying, knowing that I failed once. Now I see it as just my first attempt. and I can go as many times as I need before I get it. And that's where growth happens. So what I'm looking to get out of the journey, I want to see what I'm all about. I want to see things that I never even thought possible for me. I want to see maybe inspiration for others as well, knowing that I was in their shoes at one point, and there is another side to life besides the one that might not be as fulfilling for them. You know, a quote that I've heard from David Goggins while listening to his book was, it was a saying that he said, when he goes up to heaven and he meets God and he has like this board of what he was supposed to be. You know, he sprayed cockroaches at Ecolab, and he was just a 300-pound guy. Not, you know, he came from trauma, and that's all he had really on his board. But then who he became after that was a Navy SEAL that God didn't know about. Like, he became a Navy SEAL, ultra marathon runner, fitness, and a ranger. Like, just all this stuff that it was like God's just writing like new stuff on his board that he didn't even think was going to be on it. And so that's kind of what I go through, was I think about that and knowing like I'm writing more stuff on my board, knowing that I didn't think was going to be a possibility for me. And so I'd like to maybe see if I can share more with other people as well.
Prove more things to yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Is this experience how you envisioned it?
To be honest, no. I envisioned myself crossing that finish line. I envisioned that throughout training, throughout work, just being at home working out, I envisioned myself crossing that finish line. And it's not over yet. That vision's still in my head. So no, it's not how I envisioned it, but that's how life goes. Is sometimes it doesn't go as you plan. This one is not over. The story is not over. I'm going to keep going until my vision becomes a reality. So I have this vision of me crossing that 100-mile finish line. Even if it's not the next race, it might be the next 100-miler after that, or after that. But I'm going to get it done. That vision will become reality one day.
What was your recovery like after you got back to the house?
Yeah, that was, I took the week after the race off of work, and the first, like that Monday, my feet were more swollen. My left knee was pretty swollen and bruised. I did have 2 pretty big blisters on my feet. My backside was chafed very badly. So my recovery took, probably for being able to walk without my wife there, took until like Wednesday going into Thursday. That was really hard. The race was June 8th, going into June 9th, and 3 or 4 days where I actually could start walking on my own at least. And then I didn't work out or obviously run that whole week, and just focused on recovering and ate a lot of food. First couple of nights were pretty hard to sleep. Couldn't really get comfortable, just tossed and turned. But yeah, just every day, just took some did cold plunges, a lot massage guns, did yoga, stretching, and stayed off my feet the best I could for a little while at least, until I got the itch to want to get back out and work out and stuff.
So what's next for you then?
Well, so the race was June 8th. My birthday was July 1st. And I told myself last year on my birthday I wanted to run the amount of miles of the years I've been on this earth. So I just turned 34. I ran another ultra marathon less than a month later through the trails again. And so that was hard. That was my next. That's the next thing I did was 34 miles for my 34th birthday. But what's next after this? Nothing is planned as of right now. Obviously, I have ideas, but we'll see what happens. I don't know yet. Still in the works.
What do you want to say to people watching this?
I want to say a lot. So for me, I came from a troubled past, and I didn't think I had much of an inspiring future. A couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, I got sober, and then I started this whole journey. Never in my life did I ever think I would be sober. Just these unexpected but awesome turns that happened in my life were huge for me. And whoever watches this, there is a chance for you too. It's never too late to turn around, to start something new, to challenge yourself. It's never too late, no matter how old you are. You can start getting fit. You can start betting yourself at any point. I did it. I'm still in the process of doing it. I'm only three years in, and it's only just beginning for me. And I'm excited for what my future brings now, because I can see it more clearly of what I want, and especially what I want my kids to see, and how I want to show people, how I want to be seen. I'm going to continue challenging myself. I want to keep pushing myself, and I want to help others do the same. I want to show people that just because you had a hard past doesn't mean you have to have a hard future. You can heal. You can get better. There are people out there that will listen and help in any way. If you would have asked me this 4 years ago, that I'd be here doing this right now, I would be laughing and sipping a drink, probably an old fashioned, laughing about it, because never did I ever think I'd be here. But here I am, and I very thankful for where I'm at. I'm proud of where I'm at, and like I said, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You just gotta start. Don't wait till it's a Friday and say you're going to start working on Monday. Just start right away. Start working on yourself. You're just going to be thankful and happy that you started. And it's just about becoming the best version of yourself. And that's my main goal. And I always want to continue to improve on that in any way I can. Fitness and running and this whole lifestyle has challenging me in ways I've never been challenged before in my life. And I'm seeing, like, I feel like I'm reborn in a way, because I've never seen this before in my life. I may have been a little bit athletic in my past, but it never excelled past, you know, 8th grade level type of stuff when it came to sports. So to see a different side of athletics and fitness, it really puts a different perspective on life and just the whole journey. So anyone watching this, it's possible to change. You just gotta get out and get started. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everyone. I hope this has been somewhat informational and maybe did something for you. Until the next video, I appreciate everyone, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Take care.